Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
interesting.
Remember? I like
Do you
completely.
need me to wear the t-shirt?
Well, no, I know what it says, but I forgot to do it completely that one episode. Man,
Yeah.
you didn't have my back. You're supposed to be my ring man.
No. Well, your ring man.
Or wing. Wing, ring. Close enough.
No. I remembered it when we started the other one. I was like, oh. Okay.
I did too. You might have before me, but okay, so
Well, I am younger. My memory's better.
whatever. This one, I think this was another one that Mom recommended, which, by the way, Mom is still fighting off a cold, a little bit of a cough. We're hoping that she will be on soon, but I want to do introductions. Why are you time outing me?
Because we're supposed to do introductions first.
I know. I always talk a little bit before we do introductions. My gosh, quit being such a little sister. All right, go ahead, and I will make sure I give you time to say all that you want to say. So when you're done, just like give me a thumbs up so I know when I can introduce myself.
Okay. I am Elena.
Is it the one time you don't say extra? Oh my gosh. And I'm Sherri, and this is Outline of a Murder. Okay, so the case is actually, it popped up early in 2023. Most of our cases, we don't do that, that close to our recording. And I probably should have looked up for any updates. I usually put the dates of like the next hearings and stuff in the notes, and so he may have already had some. But this is a case of Ana Walshe. And I don't know if you remember her, but she was last seen on New Year's Eve. And let me see what town they live in. I think they live in, let's see, New York City, I think, is where they live. Why do I not have where they live? This is so weird. I think that's where they were living at the time, but I could be wrong. But she and a friend and her husband had a New Year's get together, and it didn't sound like it was a big party or anything like that. It was just an intimate gathering, and she's gone. No one sees her after that night.
From her house?
Yeah. And so a search for her body was launched, and I remember it popping up on Fox News, and I'm like, husband killed her. Now, typically I will do that. That's why I probably wouldn't be a good cop, because I'd immediately be like, whatever, but I did think that just because it's very rare for an individual to disappear from their house. Like all the cases we do, typically when someone disappears from the house, the spouse did it. Not always, Yeah. And so then, though, I got confused. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm incorrect, because the initial report said that the husband was not a suspect. So I was like, oh, well, he must have an alibi. Okay, well, maybe she went for a walk and didn't tell anyone, like an early morning walk or something, and she disappeared. But then the anchor stated that he had a criminal background. And I'm like, whatevs. I don't care what they say. This dude did it. And the cops are looking at him. And sure enough, that's what occurred. So just to give you a spoiler alert, he was arrested January 8th for the murder of his wife in 2023. Innocent until proven guilty, blah, 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 blah. But obviously the listeners know my position. Okay, so I want to show you. Let me get the screen share going, because I want you to see, number one, Ana, and number two, where she worked. So Ana was a Serbian American, and it turned them off. Hang on one second. Let me get up here. And there we go. And she was a real estate executive with this company in the beginning, Tishman Speyer. And so, as you can tell from the website, I mean, it's a really well put together website, but it's not just like residential properties. It's they call it intersection of real estate and people, real estate and technology in your local neighborhood. So they want to make life better. And they do stuff all over the place. They also design labs and boardrooms. And as you can see on the screen, some really cool photos of the work they do. And this was when she lived in Washington, D.C. And at the time of her disappearance, she would commute to D.C. every week to work. And she possessed a $2 million portfolio. And so she was definitely, you know, a high-end real estate agent. So, it was all over the country, all over the world, different projects and investments and things like that. And they, like, you know, when people say rent a place for their business and they say build to suit, that's part of what they did as well. Yeah, so they did build to suit for major organizations, destinations, all kinds of stuff. So definitely high end. She required obviously some great social skills in order to do this. And then let me bring up this website in a second. But before I go into that, here's a picture of her. So absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at her eyes. So, you know, she's in a high-end position. She has to be intelligent and confident, and she was. She was born in Belgrade, Serbia, Yugoslavia, in 1983. And I don't know why they're both together. I'm sure people that are from there understand that, but it literally says SR Serbia and SFR Yugoslavia. So 1983. Oh, here it is. Okay, so back then it was the Soviet Republic of Serbia, which is part of the Soviet Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. So that was pre the wall coming down. So she lived in those countries when they were communist. And then she attended the 5th Belgrade Gymnasium. So I'm assuming that's their words for a school or something of that nature. But it was one of the most prestigious gymnasiums in Belgrade. She obtained a BA in French language and literature from the University of Belgrade, and then she came into the U.S. in 2005 and became a dual citizen. So, I mean, again, just, you know, highly intelligent, accomplished. Then she, when she got to America, she worked at the Inn at Little Washington, and it's a luxury country inn and restaurant in Washington, Virginia, which I thought, why is it called Virginia? I mean, unless a foreigner is writing this, I'm thinking that should be, you know, D.C., but there might be a Washington, Virginia. I don't know. And it's not a Motel 6. So I looked it up on Wikipedia, so it has its own place. The inn has been featured in several national and international newspapers, including the Washington Post and the New York Times. It was the first establishment to ever receive 5 stars for both its accommodations and its cuisine in the Mobile Travel Guide, a distinction that it still maintains. It repeated this feat by becoming the first restaurant inn to receive 5 diamonds from the AAA for both its food and accommodations in 1989. They have maintained that distinction through 2016. In 2018, the inn received a coveted 3-star rating from the Michelin Guide. The restaurant received 5 James Beard Foundation Awards, including those for Best Service, Best Wine List. I mean, this might be a place that we need to check out. Restaurant of the Year. Yeah. You know, I'll just send this to the kids because they live over that area. Best Chef.
And by the way, there is Washington, Virginia.
There is a Washington, Virginia? Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder what it is in proximity to Alexandria.
I will find that out. Go ahead.
Thank you. Let's see. They got Best Chef. I mean, just award after award. The Zagat survey for Washington, D.C. rated it number 1 in all categories for 14 consecutive years. It was like the number 1 hotel in the world in the Travel and Leisure magazine. So again, she's working in a place like, I don't want our listeners to have the idea that she just worked at an inn. Like she's working in a place that is top notch, excellent. Again, she has to have some intelligence, some social skills. And then she also worked at the Wheatley Hotel in Lenox, Massachusetts, another fine dining and luxury hotel. So that's the one here. And, just a beautiful website. But look at this inn. It is absolute. Can you see the screen? Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. It looks like an old-timey mansion. Yeah. And, it says in 1893, Henry H. Cook purchased estate land in the Berkshires, and then he hired Peabody and Stearns architectural firm in Boston to build Wheatley an Italianate-style country home inspired by his ancestral family home in Wheatley. Oh my gosh, the inside! Wow,
the wine.
Yeah,
let's go back.
Let's just kind of look at the gallery here. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put this like in a video so people can see. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All that wine.
And look at the glasses. That's gorgeous.
It is tennis courts. Yeah. Wow. But, so again, this is a very nice place, and it's here that she met Brian Walsh. Okay. I'm not sure of the timeline though. I don't know how long they went, out and all that, but they married around 2015, 2016. So even that was hard to get information on, which is one of the reasons I don't like to do new cases, because it's really hard to get that information. Once things go down, then people start researching and crime shows start doing it. And then you get affidavits and you get all of this stuff. But she worked in several hotels before she finally became the regional general manager at the Tishman Speyer in February of 2022. So that was that high-end real estate firm. So, this lady was awesome in her profession. And now she had to travel a lot. Here it is where they lived. So they lived in Cohasset, Massachusetts. So it's south of Boston. And then she would leave for DC and live there during the week. I'm not sure, were there marriage problems, or did she love her job so much she hated to give it up, so she was willing to have the commute, but, they've put their roots down in Massachusetts. I don't know. I just know that it doesn't seem like an ideal arrangement, for a mom, because she had, her 2 kids and a husband and all of that. But it might have also been a financial, necessity, because he wasn't working. Now, all I could find on him is he was an art dealer. In 2021, he pled guilty in federal court for 3 charges of fraud for trying to sell counterfeit Andy Warhol works. He was on house arrest, awaiting his sentencing, and he is a very unattractive individual. So let me just bring him up. What a gem right there. What a gem. Do you see it?
Ew.
Yes.
What in the world?
I don't know what my sister's doing, but she keeps getting on her phone. And when I'm showing her pictures, I'm like, hello.
I'm looking. I'm looking. I stopped immediately. I was trying to get you the distance.
He looks good, okay here.
Better.
But still, I'm just kind of like, man, she's so pretty. And that may be totally shallow, but I've never said I'm not. But yes, that is.
European. You're European in that other picture.
Him?
Yeah, but in that other picture, he looks more European there.
He does.
A little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit, I would say for sure. Okay.
I give up.
The picture that I get so far is that there's 6 to 7 years on their marriage. And so you have a gorgeous and intelligent wife working away during the week, upper class, possibly as far as income, and a husband who is an art dealer, which I don't even know what that means. Like like art dealer, like is he actually a professional art dealer, or does he just like to have, a little bit of, like is he on his own? Is he skilled? I mean, I don't know any of those things, but obviously he's a fraud. I don't know if he was bringing any income in. And I mean, that was 2021. And with inflation and stuff, maybe it hit, him a little bit hard as far as the economy. And I also learned that he was in a legal battle over his father's estate in 2019. And then a relative and a family friend said that he was a violent and untrustworthy person. So we already have, obviously some red flags. The fact that he, has a criminal record, the fact that his family members are saying he is violent, untrustworthy is obviously part of, a lot of the cases that we do. So I'm just not sure how healthy the marriage could be. I mean, personally, if I was married and my husband gets busted, for selling fake art, I'm not sure I'd want to be with that person anymore.
Nope. I'd be out.
Yes. Peace out. Okay. Now, in the days before she disappeared, Ana told friends of a, quote, big surprise in the new year. She had also sold rental property for cash in Revere, Boston in late December. She had liquidated cars and other expensive possessions, which basically means she's getting some cash gathered up. And the only thing I can think is she's going to leave.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think the fact that she liquidated cars, plural, tells me that they were probably, they had some money, or at least she did.
Yeah.
All right. Now, timeline, which is very important. So Ana was last seen by her husband and a friend. Now, some people said friends, but I couldn't find that there was more than one, in the early morning hours of January 1st, around 1:30 a.m. After the long holiday weekend, she was supposed to be to work January 4th, but she didn't show up. So between January 1st, 1:30 a.m. to January 4th, which I'm assuming she would need to be to work by 8 or 9, she's gone. So that is quite a timeline. Like if she was kidnapped, if she was murdered, that's a lot of time to try to figure out exactly when and get a good grasp on that. And so her colleagues were concerned. So the head of security notified authorities and requested a welfare check. And again, I love this. I think the second case we did, or it might have been the first. Yeah, it was the first case, room 106, Lee Rotatori, how at her new job, she had made such an impression, that the boss is like, no, something's wrong. Let's do a welfare check. So I love that. And I think like where you work, I know it's a corporation. I wonder what their policies are. I wonder, like if people don't show up, are they going to be a company that they're going to call and make sure the person's okay?
Yeah, they do.
That's good. Okay. Not saying that, Dusty's going to kill you or anything, but it's just always good to know. Okay. So they told the police, and they contacted the husband also to notify him that she didn't show up. Police arrive at the house of Brian and Ana and notice a couple things. First, the seats were down in his Volvo, and a large plastic liner was in the back seat. So I'm not sure what car he owned, but it sounded like an SUV, where you can lower the seats, get that in there. The back seats were down with the liner on top.
Yeah.
And so it's like, now that's interesting. They also wanted to know, why have you not let us know that your wife is missing? Now, I could actually give him the benefit of the doubt, because let's say she left the second, to go to DC, maybe relax a little bit before she goes to work the 4th. Would he even know she's missing? I would be of the mind that she probably wouldn't have left until the 3rd. And so I could see how the cops would question, but really the timeline of when she left would be very important, which they could prove easily, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they interviewed him at 6:30. Walsh said that he saw Anna leaving for work on New Year's Day at 6:30 a.m., even though she wasn't scheduled to return until the 4th. Not buying it.
Right. I bet he didn't know when actually she was supposed to start back.
Oh, that's a good point. Like he may have wondered if it was the 2nd.
I'm going to look at the calendar real quick. Yeah, because the 2nd was on a Monday. The 4th was on a Wednesday.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that could be. He maybe thought that she's going to go in on the 2nd. He said she had been called in for an emergency work situation. So he knew she was supposed to be there the 4th, but there's this emergency work situation. When the investigators checked with her usual rideshare and taxis to the airport, there was no evidence that she took either a rideshare or a plane. There was also no evidence that she even arrived in Washington. So
Right.
Walsh said that he ran errands January 1st after she left and then spent the 2nd with his kids. He did run some errands, but some weird ones. So let's go into the investigation. Yeah. Errands like in cleaning up a crime scene. Wait till we get to that. I mean, the title of this episode is going to be Murder by Google. This dude is the dumbest human being that we have ever looked at. I mean, I'm like, wow. Okay, so a massive search goes out. I do remember that. Again, it was on Fox News. And they never located Anna, but they did turn up some interesting things on Walsh. And it also tells me that they suspected him very early on, like I did. And, of course, they have to investigate those closest to the victim. So here's the timeline. On December 27th, prosecutors alleged that Walsh Googled, quote, "What's the best state to divorce for a man?" Okay, so that was the first. Number 2, shortly before 5 a.m., do what?
The best date to divorce a man?
For a man.
I don't understand why that was even Googled.
So what I'm thinking is he's trying to figure out where he can file for divorce that will make it where he comes out better. And so, maybe he was wanting to know, is it better to divorce in D.C.? Is it better to divorce in Massachusetts? I don't know if you can get divorces in other states. I'm assuming you can't, that it needs to be where you're living. But I bet he's trying to get an idea of how he's going to come out in the divorce, because I bet he suspected Anna was liquidating assets to get some cash, and that the big surprise is she was going to leave him.
I thought that he had Googled what date.
Best state.
State.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Interesting.
Then, shortly before 5 a.m., they alleged that Walsh used his son's iPad and conducted the following searches. Now, let me just put this out there, okay? When police come to your house, if they suspect that you've committed a crime, especially murder, they get all of the electronics, people, okay? They're not just going to get your computer, your phone, your iPad. They're going to get the wife's computer, her phone, iPad, the kids, because they know people think, well, it's not on my computer, so I can either say it was someone else, or they won't look at that, computer or iPad because it's not mine. That's just not how it works.
Right.
Okay.
Although that's not the best thing to tip off if we have shady individuals listening.
I'm hoping shady individuals aren't listening. I just think it's kind of maybe common sense, But like I said, this guy's dumber than a sack full of hammers. Okay? So we're just wait till we get to the rest of the searches. The first search. 4:55 a.m. How long before a body starts to smell? 4:58.
4:55 a.m. What day?
The first. Yeah, so is last seen at 1:30, right? By 4:55,
Yeah.
how long? So she's dead. Number 2 at 4:58. So 3 minutes later, how to keep a body from decomposing. At 5:20, how to bound or bind a body. 5:47, 10 ways to dispose of a body if you really need to. 6:25, how long for someone to be missing to inherit. 6:34, can you throw away body parts? 9:29,
Wow.
oh yeah, what does formaldehyde do? 9:34, how long does DNA last? 9:59, can identification be made on partial remains? 11:34, dismemberment and the best way to dispose of a body. 11:44, how to clean blood from a wooden floor. 11:56, luminol to detect blood. 108, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia? And the final one is 121, is it better to throw away crime scene clothes or wash them?
So, wow, that's a lot. Some of them are boneheaded questions. Was he just hanging out, chilling in his recliner, just Googling away? It sounds like it.
This is why I say how dumb this individual is. We have covered and discussed, I know I have in my lifetime, hundreds of cases. When I was reading the research on this and the timeline, I'm literally sitting on the couch and I'm like, looking around, and I didn't have anybody to share my amazement of how dumb you're literally looking at the crime. How long before a body starts to smell? She's dead. Now he's got to keep her from decomposing. Oh, I'll Google that. Then it's like, well, I need to get the body out. I better find out how to, bind up a body. I'll Google that next. Oh, well, what am I going to do with the body? 10 ways to dispose. I mean, how long does it take so I can get my money? Because she's going to be missing. And then the body parts.
DNA.
That sucks. He probably dismembered her to dispose of her in several different places. I mean, the luminol, blood. So blood on a wooden floor, that tells us that he either killed her somewhere where there's a wooden floor or he knows he tracked blood on a wooden floor. I know I keep saying he is the dumbest human being, but I mean, seriously, you Google your crime. I've never heard of that. I mean, I would say the closest, and it's not even like close, is when BTK asked the police, because he was tired of writing, and so he wants to go to a more modern technique of typing his information. And so he's like, well, if I type it and if I send you the floppy disk, can you tell who owns, oh, no, we can't tell it all. And then, of course, they go into the metadata. But I can give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Number one, he was old at the time. Number two, no one knew who metadata was except for computer nerds like me. And so obviously, he's going to have no idea. So his stupidity was maybe a little bit, and let's top it off with the cherry on top, that he's dumb enough to believe cops. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. And he was actually more mad about that than anything else when they were interviewing him, because they broke the honor code. This is a dude that tortured women, right? But he did not have sex with them because that would have been unfaithful to his wife.
Oh, see, I wasn't on that case. Wow.
If you guys could see my reactions. Anyway, so this dude basically violates the intelligence and the couth and the puzzle pieces of a crime. He just completely violates the whole thing. It's all in, Google searches.
So what you're saying is that you're quite disappointed.
I am. I expect a little bit of something here. Give me something to work with. All right. Now, Obviously, this is inside of what, we're getting this inside look of what Walsh was thinking and what happened. So we know that by the December 27th searches, divorce was imminent because he had asked what's the best state to divorce in for a man. We don't know if he wanted the divorce or not, but either way, it was, the marriage is ending. I bet he realized he was up a creek without a paddle and he was going to have a huge financial hit. So like, even if he would have been able to have half of the possessions, she very smartly was selling them off, and so that's divorce. Now, how that would work out in court, I'm not sure. I don't even know if they're a community property state. I think most are, But anyway, he was going to take a hit. He's also on, house arrest. He's going to be sentenced. I'm sure he's not selling a lot of art. The judge is probably going to look down on that in divorce proceedings as well.
Yeah, I'm interested how he was able to get around being on house arrest.
I don't know. You ask the best questions. Huh. Well, the only thing is maybe he was able to, no, because he's house arrest. He must have figured out a way to get it off. Or it was in the early morning hours and they didn't even notice that he was running all over tarnation, disposing of body parts. I don't know. That's really interesting. I don't know. I'll have to see if that's in my notes. Now,
okay,
I'm wondering if there were also some other shady business practices that he wanted to keep hidden too. So, like any normal human being, the response to shady business practices is to kill the wife. That's how you can make sure that stuff doesn't get found out. Now,
I turn off my fan.
Here's what I believe happened. So I believe that Ana and Walsh might have gotten into a fight after the guests left because he just didn't think the crime through. You know what I mean? Like, he seems like a person who likes to use Google. So I'm thinking that he would have done a little bit of research pre-crime. And so I'm kind of wondering if it was one of those, they get in this fight. Maybe he wanted to know what the big surprise was. And she's like, well, I'm leaving you because you're, an idiot. And then they get in this fight. And even the crime scene itself, I just don't think that he thought it through. Investigators do believe, based on the crime scene and the evidence collected so far, that he beat her to death, that it was a crime of rage, and it was done in the basement of the home. But there's no body. They still haven't found her. The blood, and I'm thinking again, blood splatter, because there's different blood spatter based on the murder. So the fact that she's killed in the basement could point to some premeditation. Like, did he lure her down there? Was it a finished basement and that's where they had to get together?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Like in Texas, where when I was a kid, basements were like stuff you would see in horror movies. But my friend, her basement's like, man, this is like a house. It's really nice.
Yeah, more and more of them are like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And people have like their entertainment areas and stuff down there. So I think the type of basement could be important. Obviously, after he kills her, he doesn't know what to do. And so again, he has to Google, get those steps for cleaning up that crime scene. And then we can tell that he's wondering about the evidence. So the DNA. He's concerned that they're going to find her DNA down there, which I'm pretty sure they did. Also, there was a search on, can a person be ID'd by body parts?
Right.
So, he's learning, okay, dismemberment's the best way to get rid of the body. we see that, cleaning up that darn crime scene, he's got to take care of that. So he Googles the luminol, etc. Now, obviously his son's iPad, his son's little, there's no way that he could have murdered his mom. But let me show you their house. Oh, no.
That is just crap.
That's not the house, actually. They're trying. Okay, so let me go back a little bit before I tell you what we're looking at here. On January 2nd, here's some more of his errands. He purchased some rugs from a Home Goods while wearing rubber gloves and a face mask. Okay, so this guy just gets...
Which, I mean, you could do because of COVID.
Yeah. So that's probably the only smart thing he did. But they still, the cameras still got him. They knew it was him. He also, at Home Depot, bought $450 of cleaning supplies like mops, buckets, tarps, drop cloths, various kinds of tape, and more. I mean, $450. Like, did you buy like the top of the line tarps?
Right. That's a lot.
Gold buckets? I mean, 450? Like, that ain't gonna, like, oh, I'm not gonna be suspicious of that at all. I mean, seriously, it's like, I don't understand what's wrong with you. So then he went back to Google. Okay? He Googled at 12:45, hacksaw, best tool to dismember. 110.
That was what he Googled?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay.
He also Googled, can you be charged with murder without a body? And then at 114, can you identify a body with broken teeth? So we know he beat her. Yeah, it's pretty sad. So,
sucks.
I mean, let's just pause here. What are your thoughts so far of this case?
Well, he's definitely an idiot, but it's very sad because of how obviously how little he thought of her first.
Yeah.
The severity of the murder and just how he treated the body.
Yeah.
I don't know. My heart goes out to her more than thinking what an idiot poop bird he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an idiot.
And I didn't include pictures of her with her boys for our purposes today, but I will have those. They're on the Instagram, and then I'll also have those on the website. But they're beautiful. You could tell that she loved her kids. Now, police found footage, and this is what this is about right here, of Walsh visiting a dumpster in Abingdon, Massachusetts. On the footage, he's carrying a heavy-looking garbage bag that he had to, quote, heft into the dumpster, according to police. So obviously, it's heavy. The police tried to find those trash bags, but they'd already been incinerated at the trash transfer center. So this is them searching through the garbage. So not only does he beat her to the point where she doesn't have her teeth, he also dismembers her, and then he throws her away like garbage. So yeah, I wish they had the death penalty actually in Massachusetts. So after he hefts probably parts of her body or her body in this dumpster, he returns home to do more searching. So at 1:02, he searched on what happens to hair on a dead body. At 1:13, what is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on the surface of the woods? And can baking soda make a body smell good?
That first one, again, just shows how little he thought of her.
Yeah. Yeah, this dude, there's something wrong with him. There is something wrong with him.
Well, clearly.
Yeah. But just the lack of, again, the Google searches is
Yeah.
what gets me. Okay, so
Yeah. It's astounding. It's astounding.
it's
And I
astounding.
gotta say, I mean, he needed Google every step of the way.
Right. Like you couldn't figure this out. Just the fact that it didn't enter his mind that they were going to find these Google searches. I mean, that's what's stunning to me. That he didn't think about that. But all right, so then on January 4th, this is obviously when she should have been at work, he also bought bath mats, men's clothing, and towels at TJ Maxx and Home Goods. He also visited
Oh,
Lowe's.
saving money.
Ah,
TJ Maxx.
yeah, so if you're a criminal and you would like to save money, make sure you go to those places, but spend $450 on cleaning supplies at Home Depot. My goodness. Okay, so he's doing all these errands. This is the same day that the police noticed the Volvo. When they returned the next day, the Volvo was freshly cleaned. They asked him what happened to the plastic liner that they saw the previous day, and he's, I threw it out. They discovered more footage that showed that he visited a dumpster by his mother's home. So I do believe he just drove all over the place depositing the body, and he is dumb enough to either have turned off his phone during that time, and that's the thing. Criminals think, well, I'll turn off my phone so I can't be tracked. You have to understand that unusual phone activity is evidence. Circumstantial evidence is very powerful. If your phone has never been off or has been off very, very little, let's say in the last 10 years, and then all of a sudden it's off for hours, they're going to note, and especially around her disappearance, they're going to know you've been up to no good. And I mean, to me, the best thing is just leave it at the house. If you're going to, go dispose of body parts, just leave the phone at the house. So anyway, so on January 8th, so like 4 days later, he is arrested. Now, if he took his phone, okay, as he's disposing of her body, they're going to be able to see everywhere he went. The garbage thing was probably the only smart thing he did because everybody knows it's hard to find a body in a garbage dump. I mean, especially in urban areas, which is very sad. They did discover bloodstains in the basement. They also found a damaged knife in the basement with blood on it. Like,
I wonder if that's what he initially tried to, what is it called? I just went blank.
Kill her with?
No, sever her body.
Oh.
Or,
it sure could have. Yeah, sure could have. But I don't know. You go and spend $450 at Home Depot to clean, yet you don't get rid of the knife. You don't clean. I mean, I'm just like, I would love to get this guy's IQ tested. No joke. I mean, it has to be like 80 or less. I don't know. So they searched the area near his mother's home. They found 10 trash bags stained with blood. They also found slippers with Anna's and Walsh's DNA on it, rags, tape, a medical suit with Brian and Anna's DNA on it. So I'm thinking he suited up so he didn't leave any evidence or anything like that. But did he suit up for his cleaning projects or did he suit up to kill her? Was she staying in the basement? You know what I mean? Was she living down there? I don't know. They also found her Hunter boots and Prada handbag. They found her COVID-19 vaccine card, a hacksaw, a hatchet, and cutting shears.
Dang.
So I'm thinking that's what he wore to dismember her, not necessarily to kill her. Because again, I think it was a crime of, passion and rage.
Yeah.
Now, some of our listeners might think you have to be psychotic to cut up a body, but it's not. And a lot of people that do it, it's a necessity. They now at this point, they've murdered somebody. They're just trying to save themselves. And so their only option is to do this and to conceal evidence. I do think, again, that he put her body in bags. Now, the final stuff is Anna's cell phone pinged near her home around January 1st and 2nd after Walsh said she had left. So they've got that.
Right.
Also, Anna called her mother, sister, and maid of honor in the early hours of 2023 when no one was available. So it would have had to have been after 1:30. Well, I don't know. Maybe she could have called them while they were having the intimate party with their friend. But we do know early hours she called.
Or wishing Happy New Year's.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's what I assumed, that it would be for the New Year's call, but she didn't get a hold of anybody. The Serbian embassy has been collaborating with the police and Anna's mom to get details to her, because she's still in Serbia. So this tells me that Walsh either showed no signs of violence, which I doubt, especially because of the family saying that he was a violent, untrustworthy person. They didn't have any idea that she was in danger. So I'm thinking she either hid how bad it was, or maybe he didn't show her any signs of violence. But, I'm not sure if I can believe that there wouldn't be anything that was a red flag. Now, the next hearing was supposed to be on April 4th. Now, that's the day I was writing this script. I've not heard anything on it. And when I Googled it, I didn't find anything out. A former New York prosecutor said that the missing body could be a problem, but there's a lot of circumstantial evidence there, you think. He also said you could not have planned a worse murder if you tried. He added that Walsh, quote, bungled every aspect of this from beginning to end. So he's definitely guilty of being a moron, and I hope that he will be convicted of murder, obviously more than being a moron. But let me see if we can find out real quick, and just share your thoughts while I'm looking it up. Anything that you want to add or you think about the case.
Do you know where the children are?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, let me see what I can find out. So the latest article is August 22nd, 2023, and they're saying that DNA evidence is expected in the coming weeks for the case. They've still not found her body. And then his pretrial hearing was scheduled August 23rd to November 2nd, and that they're waiting for some DNA results in the next 2 weeks. So that was back in August. Now, let me see about her kids. That's a good question, especially with her family being in Serbia.
And was just disgusting.
Oh, state custody.
No.
Yeah, friends wanted to take care of the boys. They're 2, 4, and 6. That sucks. Yeah, they're in state custody. Ana Walshe scrawled eerie note to husband hours before she vanished, wishing him courage, love, and perseverance in the new year. Wow.
Well, that was...
It says that she scrawled the message in red marker on a champagne bottle box on New Year's Eve hours before she vanished. The message, first transcribed by the New York Post, reads, "Wow, 2022, what a year, and yet we are still here and together. Let's make 2023 the best one yet. We are the authors of our lives. Courage, love, perseverance, compassion, and joy. Love, Anna." Well, I mean, that could be like, I don't know if I would take that message and think that she was leaving them. Would you?
No, not at all. Hold on one second.
Okay.
What? Yeah, we are still here. Yeah, especially, and yet we are still here and together.
And together. But we know that from her liquidating cash and a big surprise, unless I mean, what if she was pregnant? Like, what if she wasn't leaving him?
Yeah, but him Googling that.
But what if he
Okay, so let's say
suspected?
that he wanted to divorce her, and the big surprise was that she was pregnant and he flipped out.
I'm wondering. I don't know if she drank alcohol that night. I mean, if she didn't, that would be a clue. If she did, probably not, because she was a good mom. I don't think she would have done that. I mean, she could have been liquidating cash for his upcoming court dates. Of course, we're speculating completely. We don't know. Her body's never been found. We'll probably never know. But that's like, that message is weird, because if she was planning on leaving him, I'm not sure why she would say, we are still here and together.
Yeah.
And let's make 2023 the best one yet. And then she's going to divorce him. Yeah, that kind of throws a wrench in, like, what was the big surprise? I figured it would be she was going to divorce him, but maybe not.
That's such a sweet message.
It is. And the courage could be for his upcoming trials, not for being single. You know what I mean? Like, maybe she was like, courage for your upcoming legal stuff.
And perseverance.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, there it is. There's a picture of it. I don't want to view the gallery because I don't know if there's crime scene photos, but there's her with the boys. So, yeah, there it is right there. Okay. I don't want to go too far, so we'll just stop there. Now that is interesting. I'm now bumfuzzled over what the surprise was. If any of our listeners know, like if they've heard any reports on that, please let us know at our website, outlineofamurder.com, because I'm curious, like maybe she gave a little bit of some hints to somebody. Does her mom know what the surprise was? It just does make you wonder if she's pregnant again, or maybe she was going to, quit her job and be at home more and work, locally. I mean, there's so many good things it could be. And that note just doesn't tell me that she was going to leave him, but we know he was looking at divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. But any final thoughts on this case?
So they were in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Which state? It was either Massachusetts or or Pennsylvania, where the idiot governor was elected who always wore a hoodie.
Pennsylvania.
I thought maybe it was just for the part of the course. No offense.
No offense to our people from Pennsylvania. Goodness. I might just cut that out. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So we're hoping, because we're having to record these remotely and over several days. And so we're hoping maybe Mom can join us when we both get back from some trips later towards October. These will drop Halloween. But we're hoping we can record a couple more this weekend, or at least one. We're actually pretty good. When I look back we've got 4, so we could probably do 2 and be good. Saturday versus 3, because I know you got some stuff to do.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk offline.
Yeah, we can do that. So either way, we are working hard, guys, and we are recording at times we normally don't record. We've had very busy schedules because we want to get these episodes out to you guys, and we love discussing true crime. So as far as I would say, safety and red flags and things like that, I'm not saying that if someone gets into legal trouble that you're going to be murdered. But what I would say is that things just seemed unhealthy. And the fact that there's money involved and there's a criminal situation going on with the Andy Warhol paintings, I don't know. That to me would maybe be where I would be a little bit more cautious. Look on the laptops, the iPads, what's being searched, what's going on. I think I would probably just be a little bit more nosy, especially if you are the one that is earning the majority of the income. And, just have a little bit of an idea of where that person might be coming from by those searches.
And, although there's no proof yet that he was violent with her or the kids, the fact that family members, if I'm not mistaken, stated that he was violent and untrustworthy. They were together how long?
I think 6 to 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, there had to have been some sort of idea, had to have been. Again, especially with the family members stating that means that there's a history there, in my opinion.
I agree. I'd like to know, was he married before? Why do they say that? And, I could see her not sharing a lot with her mom being in Serbia, not wanting to worry her. But again, that message just seemed very nice. It didn't seem like there was any issues there. But yeah, it's like, okay, why, did they talk to her? Was this after the fact that they're saying he was violent? And, the only case I can think of where there was not a shred, I could not find a single red flag, was the hockey player that had his wife killed. And I think that was, I don't know if it was last season or season 2. I'd have to go back. But it was the daughter witnessed the attack. Do you remember that one? Okay.
So been one with you.
Yeah, it may have been season 2, I think, is when me and her did that season. Yeah, and there was nothing. I could not find anything. There was no violence at all. And that's when I started figuring out the majority of cases that we do like this, there's not any violence. And so that was a shock. And so people need to know that. So if there's a lot of money involved, your spouse is in some legal trouble, things seem a little bit tense or difficult, please look at their searches. Please look on their phone. If they don't want you to, something's up.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Okay, you're going to have to do 2 unless you want to do yours, and then I can do 2.
Okay, you start.
No, that's not how this works. I mean,
then why did you give me the option?
No, yours is always the first one, so I can do mom's and mine.
Okay. No. Be smart. What is that? What just came through?
I have no idea. Balloons. I thought maybe you hit something because you were excited because you got it.
Be smart.
Yes. Be rude.
This guy was not. Sorry, go ahead.
That's good. Yes. Don't be smart like him. Actually be smart. Be rude and don't be a victim. And we got to figure out where the balloons came from. I have no idea.
Recording stopped.
What on earth? Outline of a Murder is a Mr. Joseph production. What do you think, Joseph?